Good morning, Bix Weir, roadtoroota.com. Bix Weir, Horn of Z's, morning coffee, morning sip. My buddy Devin left his Raider hat at my house, so I decided to wear it, and I noticed under the top, if you can see it, is the Cliff High's Raven, or Crow. I don't know what it is, a raven or a crow. I think it's a raven. So I thought I'd wear it today. Another goofy hat. I'm going to put a goofy hat promotion out soon, and you can earn a silver coin by donating your goofiest hat to roadrooter.com, and I'll wear it in the morning news. Let's start off with my buddy Sean at SGT Report. Everybody, when Chris Duane comes out and posts a video, everybody sends it to me. And they used to say, oh my God, Chris has exposed the con of the cryptocurrencies. Now they just laugh and send it and say, oh, here he goes again, being intellectually honest, saying he'll never, ever, ever support a cryptocurrency. But it is what it is. Sean does a great job over there at SGT Report. If you're not a member, a subscriber to SGT Report, you should be. But take everything with a grain of salt. Sean does a great job of putting these videos together. And I noticed a few weeks back how the dramatic music that he plays behind the scenes really kind of gets you going and influences his idea, whether or not it is absolute fact or not. Most of his stuff is absolutely factual, and he dares go where most don't go. But always keep in mind the editing and the music in the background. It makes it more intense. It's really cool, actually. I wish I was that gifted as a video maker. But he has another interview with Chris Duane saying how great, Chris is saying how great his Silver Shield coins are and how crappy the cryptos are. But again, he never gives a reason. You can't say you love blockchain, but you refuse to use it for any kind of cryptocurrency and token. If you love blockchain so much, you should love having it being applied to something that is the problem. And the problem is unbacked fiat money and the criminals that run it. So why he was so intellectually opposed to it is very obvious. You know, he's got all silver, and he didn't understand the cryptos in the beginning, and he refuses to understand them now. I think he even says it in this video because Sean asks him, well, what about in the future? What about blockchain tokens that are being developed with these businesses? And I think that's an amazing invention. And Chris is like, no, I would never, ever in the future look at any cryptocurrency. How is that intellectually honest? Unless it was, of course, the Chris Duane coin, and it had a link to silver. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention it because all you guys who are into silver and have not made the shift when the world changed in 2009, and it doesn't have to be a far shift. I mean, I think everybody should have some cryptocurrencies if they're intellectually honest with themselves and with the world, because that is the way the world is going. You can fight it all you want, but it is happening, and you should be able to see it happening all around you. There's companies being built and formed that are amazing companies, and these companies are using blockchain tokens. Salt has just started to trade. I think it's $8 or $9 right now, and I think I see nothing but good stuff coming out of there. Real exciting, and there's a handful of companies that will be the new Googles and Facebooks and Amazons of the world, and those who say the worst though is when Chris says, well, he says what Jamie Dimon says: in the end, the government will come and arrest you for touching a Bitcoin and dealing in Bitcoin, and that's their plan, is to arrest you. And I think that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. I live in the United States of America. Yes, there are people who come after us within the government, but it's our job to fight it, to fight them. You know, we want to uphold the Constitution. And no, they're not going to come steal your cryptos. But everything he says about, the cryptos will be stolen, he refuses to apply that to silver. But one of the things he does not do ever is explain how we could ever go back onto a gold and silver standard. And he says it himself, there's very little silver out there, and only a handful of people own silver. So Chris Duane would rule the world, and Jamie Dimon would rule the world if we went on a silver standard. That's not a world I want to live in, my friends. Anyway, moving on. There was another banning of ICOs last night by South Korea. I know, not a big deal, but cryptos took a tiny hit and then bounced right back. People are tired of the FUD, and the talking points and the banning of whatever is not getting the kind of reaction that they want. They want bigger drops in the price to slow down the momentum, but cryptos are running, and they'll continue to run, and they'll continue to try to fight it just to slow it down, not to stop it. No country in their right mind would ever try to stop this innovation wave, because it is changing the world as we speak and will continue to change the world. So there'll be a lot of talk. China will probably come out and reverse their opinion on, they'll hug the cryptos after their elections. I think it's mid-October or near the end of October. And then once again, they will hug the cryptos. They told all their miners to, hey, stay in town. We're working on regulations. Regulations are good. Regulations keep out the criminal element. So, yeah, I think it's great. Those of you thinking, oh, my God, they're going to shut it down because it's, money launderers and drug runners and all the FUD that goes on, they said the exact same thing about the internet and the World Wide Web in the early 90s. And they said that the government will shut it down because you'll be able to deal in drugs and you can launder money on the internet. And the reality is, yeah, of course you can. But the obviously with the internet, the positive things about it far outweighed the negative things. And there are cyber cops out there trying to stop this stuff. And that's the way any technology goes. That's the way civilization evolves and moves forward. And cryptos using blockchain technology, a truth and honesty machine, that's what we need. And yes, it should be applied to the currencies because that's where most of the dishonesty and criminality happens. So going forward, don't be afraid of people spreading FUD. Keep on keeping on, and you'll see your riches rise, shall we say. Right now, Bitcoin's at close to 4,200. Ethereum took a big hit because it was an ICO ban, so it's got slammed down, and now it's coming back up like usual. My favorite Litecoin is still hanging in about 55 bucks. Cliff High has it going to over 100 very soon, so you should load up on Litecoin. And today's Friday. I will be putting out the Friday road trip, and I'm going to talk about my 10 top picks again and where they are, because a few things have changed, and I'm going to put it out in a video later today. So if you're a Private Road member, stay tuned. If you aren't, you should join the Road to Root Private Road, and when you do, you get one of these. So hit subscribe today, and you get one of these, the coolest coin ever. I think it's way cooler than Freedom Girl, although I love the Freedom Girl design. There's just a lot of hidden meaning in the Road to Ruta coin. The little cave in the side of the Grand Canyon where all the gold is, the stars for the Federal Reserve Bank, Ruta jumping up and down on the silver road, and you have individual numbering on the bottom edge. It's really cool. It's a cool coin. And you also get a PPT token, Populous token, paper wallet right there. You can get your first cryptocurrency just by joining the Private Road. All right, that's enough of the commercials. Let's talk about this briefly. LBMA silver price benchmark changes, but no wider participation. The LBMA is contorting and twisting and doing backflips on how silver should be priced. Silver should be priced in an open and free market and exchange. There shouldn't be a handful of people telling the world what the price of silver is. The London Bullion Market Association is a dying entity, and as it dies, they have to maintain control, so they keep switching the way it's determined, missing the most obvious way to determine price, which is a free and open exchange, an open market, not 5 people. It's gone from 7 participants, which is, let me list them if you want to know the criminals behind silver. HSBC, we already knew that one. JP Morgan, obviously. Morgan Stanley, Bank of Nova Scotia, Scotia Macquarie, UBS, Toronto Dominion Bank, and China Construction Bank. Those are the current manipulators of silver. And they're listed plainly for you to see. They determine the price on the LBMA, which is ridiculous. And supposedly they trade $5 trillion worth of silver every year. Crazy. So CME and Thomson Reuters are out. They announced that a while back. And ICE Benchmark Administration is taking over. ICE is just as criminal as the CME and Thomson Reuters. They're all criminals. Absolutely. And this isn't about finding the true fair market value of silver. This is about controlling the price of everything, because unless you control the price of silver, you are screwed with your unbacked fiat monetary system. Same with gold. So yeah, they're as they do this, as they do their latest backflip to figure out the price of silver to tell us, there are many companies looking into blockchain technologies and how to implement blockchain technologies into the exchange of silver. And this is not going to happen on a my coin is backed by silver basis. This is going to happen on a miner to producer, miner to refiner to producer level, where the coin, hang on one second, the coin will be used as part of that ecosystem. So I don't know. I think ultimately at the end they got to run out of physical. And once they run out of physical, it'll be a lot easier for the miners to tokenize their output, and then people to buy those tokens, and the whole thing to run very smoothly, but in an open and honest way. That's what needs to change. That's exactly what the blockchain can do for humanity, is introduce an open and honest exchange for anything. I think Reggie Middleton should get in the middle of this, but he's got his own things going on with Veritasium. But we'll see what happens in the future, because the blockchain technology with Veritasium implemented into the COMEX and the LBMA would be a breath of fresh air, because it'll be open up the criminality, and that's why they'll never allow it to happen, because that's an honest system and an open system, and a system you can trust and watch and see exactly what happens. But yeah, we're still waiting on Reggie's news from the Jamaican Stock Exchange. Real exciting stuff down there. He hasn't announced anything yet, but we're in the sweet spot of when it should come. I would guess in the next few weeks, Reggie will be announcing that it is up and running. And then it's just going to run from there. So get your Veritasium also. Let's see where we are. Let's just run down some quick zero hedge. Congressman attacks disloyal John Kelly for quashing possible Trump-Assange deal. It's all crap. It's all bullshit. Absolute bullshit. The NSA has everything that Assange has. I mean, all those emails, they have every email you want. If Trump wants to open up and show the world what was going on, emails between anybody. He just has to go to the CIA or the NSA and say, okay, I want every email that Hillary Clinton sent to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, sent to John Podesta, and sent to a pizza guy, Jamie Alefantes. And I want to know everything they were doing in Washington, D.C. that was ever tweeted or put on Instagram or put in a secret email or their phone conversations or anything that was recorded. Hint, 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 Uba Abedin. I want every email between Uma Abedin and her mother, the head of the Muslim Sisterhood, that took place in the mid-'90s when she was the intern for Hillary Clinton, the same time that Monica Lewinsky was the intern for Bill Clinton. I want them all, and they have them all. And Trump can get all that information. I'm sure he already has it. It's all a game that's being played. What we see is the ridiculous stuff. What's going on in the background is the real stuff. And the real stuff is the good guys are taking these bad guys out. So I'm real excited about it. Tit for tat. Russia accuses CNN of violating Russian media law. Absolutely. CNN, they belong in jail, that whole criminal organization. And I don't mean jail just because I don't like them and throw them in jail. I mean jail for sedition. Lying and cheating and trying to overthrow a sitting president is illegal. And I don't know why they're not in jail. I don't think they matter. I think it's the kind of distraction that Trump and his team like. to have, so that it's kind of like uh, a cat with one of those laser pointers, and you point the thing around, the cat's going this way and that way and this way. And I think Trump's having a field day with people like CNN, MSNBC, Rachel Madcow. Oh my God, she's like, oh, we have proof that Russia has meddled in 21 of the states, and just goes crazy. And then the next day, they come out and say, oops, that was wrong. It was nothing of the sort. It never happened. Complete fake news. It's crazy. It's crazy, but hang in there. Aramco IPO could end OPEC status quo. I knew that Saudi Arabia was running out of oil the minute they started putting offshore platforms up to drill for oil. Why would they need to when they have the world's largest oil reserve right under their feet? The offshore platforms are extremely expensive ways to pull oil out of the ground. So what the Saudis have in the ground is unknown, but I would assume it's a lot less than what they're saying. They want $2 trillion. And how do you turn Aramco public and then still belong to a cartel, the OPEC oil cartel? I don't think they can do that. So that is all falling apart. The petrodollar is falling apart, as it should. I'm real excited about we're about at that time when the Economist magazine releases their new World In. It'll be World In 2018. And remember the 1988 cover with the phoenix rising out of the burning ashes and said, get ready for a one world currency. It wasn't a one world government. Don't confuse the two. One world currency. There are one world currencies right now. Gold is a one world currency. There just happens to be a lot of other currencies. And what will it be? I think in the beginning they thought it was gold, but now it's probably some version of a cryptocurrency, probably a lot of different ones. Remember, in 1988, the cryptos weren't even invented. So their idea was probably to go gold because they own most of the gold. Let's be honest. The banksters of today own most of the gold. And no, the United States doesn't own a lot of gold in Fort Knox, but they do own a lot of gold in the ground, like millions of tons. Yes, there are millions of tons of gold. And what will we change to? I don't know, but are they sure that they will crash the system in 2018? I believe they will. I believe if you look at the 1988 cover, the symbol, the coin around the phoenix's neck, it's not an O. It's a pierced. What do they call it? It's an Illuminati symbol, and it's the pierced zero. But it's not a zero either. It's oblong. But the key is that there's an arrow that pierces the symbol, which is like some kind of sacred symbol for the Illuminati and those guys. And some people believe it has to do with the changing Earth, which obviously the Earth is changing with these storms and volcanoes, and we're going to get some earthquakes. A lot of hints that this next earthquake, the next big mother of earthquakes, is going to be right in the middle of the United States, to kind of split it down the middle. We'll see what happens. At least that was on the cover of last year's World in 2017. If you don't have it yet, you can get it. Go to Road to Ruta in the home section in the general store. Right down here is all the books I have sold, but this bottom one is a report on the World in 2017 Road to Ruta analysis. No, a lot of it hasn't happened, but a lot has. And the big stuff, I think, is coming between now and the end of the year. We'll see what happens. But very soon we're going to have the new World in 2018 report. And I can't wait for that. I know it's going to be an interesting cover. And we'll see what goes on. I think it'll be a very positive cover, truthfully. Kind of like the end of that tarot card reading for last year on the cover. And it really is. The future is looking bright. There are good guys behind the scenes that have taken control. We will end up in a good place. And you can benefit from it if you get into the right cryptocurrencies and tokens and participate in the building of our future. I mean, we're in the very early 1990s of the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web was introduced to the world in 1990, and then all these companies and businesses were built out of that. Many of them didn't survive. The pets.com of the world won't survive, so it's up to you to do the analysis. Which one's going to be the Google and the Facebook and the Amazon? Because blockchain is going to get inserted into everything, especially money. Money is the most important. So the blockchain is a tool to take down the banksters. Gold and silver, nobody ever came up with a good idea of how it would be implemented, a gold and silver standard. The world has moved on, and you can't transact business with no trust in a gold and silver world. In the crypto world, it's a trustless system. You don't have to trust anything but mathematics. And it was an amazing invention, and it is going to move us forward, which is great. And it's a very positive thing to do to move forward. Yes, there will be a lot of scams, as there is with everything. In the beginning of the internet, there was plenty of scams. So be safe, and if you're into what my thoughts are, just go to roadtoroota.com. Go to, if you look at the homepage, you go to subscribe today right at the top, and it tells you more about the private road, and I will mail to your front door this silver coin and a PPT token, your first paper crypto token. And it talks about the private road is $2.99 for a year, and then there's a buy now button, and you can renew your membership at any time. A year will get tacked on, and I'll send you the coin. This is the greatest coin out there, if you ask me. And there's Ruta jumping for joy. She's so happy because we have transitioned out of the old system into something new and exciting. And she's also happy that the end of silver manipulation has arrived, because the cryptocurrency platform will destroy the bankster monopoly of the CME and the LBMA. That's why she's smiling right there. Anyway, this is Big Weir, roadtoroota.com. I'll talk to you later.